morning everyone, Scott Ashby here from Skyline Studios. Have another mission plan today. We thought we'd walk you through the steps on how to get your mission set up, planned properly, ensure you meet all the regulations for the CARS, Canadian Aviation Regulations. So let's start off, mission came in, this was for downtown Toronto. It's in a street called Basin Street, it's in the Portlands. So first step with any mission is to do your site survey. It's kind of like what I call your desktop studies. And the main purpose of doing this is so you can assess the airspace that you're going to be flying in. So when I did my flight site plan, I used Drone Pilot Canada, great app, great workflow for this. It makes sure you meet all the requirements of CARS. During that assessment, I discovered right away that we are flying in controlled airspace. So controlled airspace triggers a second level. So just so you know, so with any flights in controlled airspace with 250 grams or higher drone, requires an advanced license, number one. And number two, even though you've done your site plan using Drone Pilot Canada app, you still need to go to an app called NavDrone. And this is the Nav Canada's facility or tool for you to get permission to fly in this airspace. And of course, they'll have any restrictions, requirements outlined in there for you, but it's a second step, right? So again, when I first started off the site planning tool, I've determined our place here. And if you want to take a look, okay, so we've determined that it is controlled airspace. Drone Pilot Canada is great. It does show us that there is some potential hydro wires here, so that's of interest for our mission as well. And this controlled airspace will trigger, like I said, the nav drone. The other great thing about Drone Pilot Canada is the DJI. So we can toggle between the Transport Canada airspace requirement and the DJI. DJI now shows me, okay, I'm in an area here where a self-unlock is required. So that changes our mission planning as well because it adds a third step. So number one, site plan, determine you're in controlled airspace, you produce your site plan, go to NavDrone, get your permission to fly there. And then the third step is now I need to do a custom unlock for this area, otherwise DJI won't let my drone take off. So I've done that, I've gone to the DJI online portal, you register your controller there, you ask for the permission to fly. They will ask you to upload that Nav Canada approval. They need to verify that you do in fact have permission to fly there. And then once you do that, it'll send a signal to your controller. You just open up your controller with Wi-Fi, send the permission or certificate to the drone, and you're good to go. So when we get on site, our drone will be allowed to take off. And now we've met all the requirements. So we have our site planning done. It sends me a nice PDF to my phone, so I have it here. And in there, like I said, it meets all the requirements of CARS. So it's going to have the type of airspace we're in, any applicable NOATAMs for the day, notice to airmen. It's going to have a little brief on our weather, and we do check weather before we leave and when we show up. So it's going to meet all the requirements of CARS. The site plan is going to come in and show you the airspace that you're in, which one will then determine whether you need to trigger that second layer of NavCan approval. It's going to have a brief outline of the weather, any applicable NOATAMs for the day. So again, like on this site, we've triggered a controlled airspace, and then we go into the NavDrone app. And again, you do this on your desktop. There is a mobile app, but I recommend you do this on your desktop. And you get your permission to fly in the airspace right from Nav Canada. So they are aware that you're going to be there, and they've given you the permission to fly. In the NavDrone app, you'll notice graduating orange circles around each of the airspace requirements, and that'll have a limit of the altitude you can fly based on auto approval. So in certain sections, it could be 30 meters or less to get your auto approval, 60 meters or less, and so on, all the way up to our maximum, which we're allowed to fly in Canada, is 120. So that will be all set for you in the NavCan app, and you'll be aware of that restriction or requirement when you before you even show up on site. Other things we want to make sure we have with this today, we've done our workflow properly, right? Site plan, approval from Nav Canada, unlocking the drone because it is an area where we have to unlock. We want to make sure we have all our equipment packed. So I've got my drone equipment here packed, batteries charged, make sure my SD card is in the drone, ready for the mission. And I do have the mission requirements from the client. When we get on site, we'll go over some details on that because this is a kind of a unique mission. We want to make sure we have our operations manual with us at all times. Operations manual is going to have with you all the things you need to fly, such as your pilot certificate of registration for the drone, and it's going to have your standard operating procedures and most importantly your emergency operating procedures. So everybody's aware of what to do in a rare event of an emergency. We also have in our kit, first aid kit, fire extinguisher, just for handling some of those emergency situations, and some spare props and any little parts we might need on site. So we're all set, we're ready to go. We have our high visibility vest. If we are going on to a construction site, we want to make sure we have your hard hat and steel-toed boots. In this case, we're not, so we're not going to be utilizing that. So I think we have our kit packed and ready to go, and let's head to the site and do our next step of our mission. Okay, so we've done all of our pre-checklist procedures. The drone is set up, everything's been inspected, props are good. The settings are entered into my drone according to this client's request. As I said, they want to shoot the video in D-Log, so we've got that set up. And also photos, we're going to be providing them photos both in RAW format and JPEG. Oh, and the good thing I checked, so we do want to shoot in 16.9 profile as well as what they've asked for. So I've just updated that setting here. Let me just double check it is applying to video as well. So it's important to get your mission parameters and your settings set up before you launch, because you want to utilize the time in the air, right, to complete your mission. Excellent. Okay, we're good to go. We're going to take off. Once we take off, we do a final check after launch that we do have full control of the drone, and then we can proceed with the mission. Okay, good to go. We are about to take off, forming the crew of takeoff. Okay, I'm just getting a confirmation that I do have permission to fly in this area, and I have done the DJI unlock, so that is good. It's just confirming. Okay, so we're just going to check. We have our yaw, roll left, roll right, pitch forward, pitch back. Excellent. And we're going to go up a bit. Okay, we have full control of the drone. We can begin our mission. So we are starting off with some basic kind of 4 points, as I call it, photos, you know, from all sides of the project, right? And then we'll get into some video. Typically you like to get everything done from the area you're in as you move. So we start off on the one side, we'll do some photos, then do some video, and then we'll move to another point and do the same photos and video. You can choose a different method if you want. You can do all your photos first and then follow up by all your videos, which is fine, whatever your preference. And we might do a combo of that. Sometimes when we're on site, we do have radio operating just to listen into the pilots. You know, making sure there's any incoming aircraft. We can hear what they're saying to the control tower.
Downwind, runway 1 for departure to the north.
Excellent, so that's traffic at Bishop there.
70 clear, is that the visual for runway 24 left Cessna? Okay, clear the visual 24 left Cessna. 974, do you require a certain speed?
Excellent, so it looks like we've wrapped up our mission for today. All the images are captured. We're gonna bring it in for a landing then. Okay, crew, we're landing the drone. Heads up. Okay, coming in for landing. Excellent. Okay, landing the drone. A little bit off there. That's a fail. Okay, so upon completion of the mission, of course, you're going to power down your devices and really do a thorough inspection now before you put your drone away. So we're going to give it a power down first. Excellent. And do that thorough inspection, right, for that. So when you take it out for the next use, you're going to be in good shape. Looks good. Props are in good shape. No damage. You're looking for any kind of hairline cracks, any chips. Sometimes you can hit bugs up there. You can get a buildup of goo on the leading edge of the prop. You want to get that cleaned off. So we're good. Props are in good shape. Again, airframe, you're looking for any damage, cracks, hairline cracks, big cracks. Feeling for overheating, we're good. Gimbal's in good shape and camera. So we're good. This drone is ready for use again. We can pack it up.